The crystalline walls of the Galactic Tribunal hummed with ancient authority as Ambassador Kethvar reviewed the case files one final time. In his 3 centuries of service, he had overseen the integration of 47 species into the Confederation. Each had followed the same pattern: initial resistance, gradual understanding, and eventual grateful submission to the superior wisdom of galactic civilization. Humans would be no different. The species designation Homo sapiens flickered across his neural interface, accompanied by a modest collection of data. Young species, barely 10,000 years of recorded history. Primitive technology, they had only recently achieved faster-than-light travel. Limited territorial expansion, confined to a single star system until mere decades ago. It should have been routine. "Bring in the human representative," Kethvar commanded, his forearms adjusting the ceremonial robes that marked his rank. The great doors, carved from living stone that had witnessed a million such proceedings, groaned open. The creature that entered defied expectation. Where other species sent their most learned scholars, their wisest elders, or their most decorated military commanders, humanity had sent a woman who appeared to be in the prime of her brief lifespan. She wore no ornate robes, carried no ceremonial weapons, bore no marks of rank or nobility. Instead, she strode across the vast chamber in simple clothing, her footsteps echoing in the sacred space with an almost casual confidence. "I am Captain Sarah Chen," she announced, her voice carrying clearly through the acoustic perfection of the chamber. "I speak for Earth and all her children." Kethvar activated the translation matrix, though it seemed hardly necessary. The humans spoke Galactic, standard with surprising fluency. "Captain Chen, you stand before the Galactic Tribunal as your species begins its transition into our great confederation. I am Adjudicator Kethvar, and I will guide you through the integration protocol." The human, Sarah, tilted her head slightly. "Integration protocol?" "Yes," Kethvar replied, accessing the standard files. "Your species will be assigned a classification level based on your technological and cultural development. You'll be granted appropriate representation in the Confederation Council, receive technological upgrades to bring you to minimum galactic standards, and be assigned a governing mentor species to oversee your transition to civilized society." Sarah's expression remained neutral, but something in her stance shifted almost imperceptibly. "I see. And what exactly does this integration require from humanity?" Kethvar waved one hand dismissively. "Standard requirements: dismantling of your primitive military structures, surrender of weapons of mass destruction, acceptance of Confederation resource allocation protocols, adoption of approved governmental systems, and compliance with galactic law in all matters." "Ah," Sarah said quietly. "Submission." "A crude term," Kethvar corrected. "We prefer enlightened cooperation. Your species will benefit enormously from our guidance. Consider the Veltar. When we discovered them, they were trapped in endless tribal conflicts over water rights. Now they efficiently manage hydration distribution across 17 worlds. Or the Zephyrians, who wasted centuries on primitive, democratic experiments before accepting the wisdom of our technocratic oversight." Sarah nodded slowly, walking closer to the massive bench where Kethvar sat. "And if a species refuses this enlightened cooperation?" The question was so unexpected that Kethvar actually paused. In his memory, no species had ever asked such a thing. "Refuses, I suppose theoretical sanctions might apply. Trade restrictions, technological embargoes. But such measures have never been necessary. Once a species truly understands the benefits of membership." "I understand," Sarah interrupted gently. "So let me make sure I have this right. You want humanity to disarm completely, accept your chosen government, follow your laws, and let you manage our resources. In exchange, we get the privilege of existing under your protection." "Precisely." Kethvar's relief was palpable. Finally, a species that understood the obvious benefits. "I knew humans would prove reasonable. Your integration paperwork?" "No." The word hung in the crystalline chamber like a discordant note. Kethvar's neural interface actually stuttered as it processed the response. I'm sorry, I don't understand. You said no to what specifically? Sarah's smile was sharp as a blade. To all of it. We're not interested in your integration, your oversight, or your laws. Earth submits nothing. The silence stretched for several seconds before nervous laughter bubbled from Kethvar's throat. Captain Chen, I think you misunderstand the nature of this proceeding. This isn't a negotiation. This is simply how things work. How they've always worked. For you, maybe. Sarah reached into her jacket and produced a small device. Nothing threatening, merely a data pad. See, while we were waiting for this meeting, we did some research. 47 species integrated over 3 centuries. Impressive record. She tapped the device, and holographic displays filled the air around them. Star charts, population statistics, resource flow diagrams. What's interesting, Sarah continued, is the pattern. Every species you've integrated started with roughly the same technological level we have now. But look at them 50 years later, 100 years later. Technological stagnation, population declines, cultural homogenization. They don't look enlightened, Adjudicator Kethvar. They look domesticated. Kethvar's 4 hands began to tremble slightly. You can't be suggesting. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm stating facts. Your confederation isn't an alliance, it's a zoo. You collect species at the moment they might become dangerous to you. Wrap them in comfortable lies and keep them as pets. The ancient chamber suddenly felt cold. But humans are different, Sarah said, stepping closer. You know what we did. When we realized we weren't alone in the universe? We didn't panic. We didn't submit. We prepared. While you were sending your polite invitations, we were building defenses you can't imagine. While you assumed we'd roll over like every other species, we were studying your technologies, your weaknesses, your fears. This is... Kethvar struggled to find words. This is unprecedented, unthinkable. No species can stand against the full might of the Confederation. Sarah's smile grew wider. You're right, no single species could. But here's what you missed, Adjudicator. While you were treating species as individuals to be domesticated, we were talking to them, the real them. The ones who remember what they were before you made them safe. The datapad chirped softly and new displays materialized. Ship formations, weapon specifications, alliance treaties. Turns out a lot of your integrated species have been waiting a very long time for someone to remind them they used to have teeth. Kethvar rose from his bench, his ancient authority crumbling like sand. You can't. This will mean war. No, Sarah corrected, her voice gentle but implacable. This will mean freedom, for all of us. She turned to leave, then paused at the great doors. Oh, and Adjudicator? You might want to update your files. Humanity's territorial expansion isn't limited to one star system anymore. As of this morning, we're in 47. The doors closed behind her with finality, leaving Kethvar alone in the suddenly fragile silence of his crystalline chamber, watching his perfect order begin to crumble